Alright, I think we are live. How's everybody doing? Not sure if we've got any viewers yet, but I'm just going to be chilling out and casting, or attempting to cast at least, some Azalea on Talishar. Just spectating, because there is a spectate feature on Talishar, which I think is quite cool. So I'm going to try my hand at that, so that should be quite good. And just, I think I'm at a stage now, I'm going to be sleeving up my own Azalea deck with these Azalea cult sleeves as well, and this at the same time. But I might even show the list while we're doing this, or if there's no Azalea games to pick up, we can go through the list that I'm taking to Leeds Battle Hardened on this weekend. Actually, that should be good. Yeah, I feel like I'm quite versed in what to do with my deck now, to a certain degree at least, to a certain degree that Azalea can do, you know, into the heroes that are prevalent at the moment. So I thought it would be good to watch other people play, and watch other people play Azalea, not only to, you know, and see if I can do sort of casting for Azalea and other heroes, and just see if I know the cards and stuff. But also get into the head of other people and what they might have, or what might be good in certain situations against certain things. Because I'm not going to see, if you play yourself, you're not going to see everything. So I thought I would, you know, try and spectate on other people's matches and see what's going on. So should be good. So if you're watching or if you're listening to this right now, then leave a comment or go in the live chat, whatever you want to do. But should be pretty chill tonight. So yeah, let's go onto the live stream screen and do some casting, I guess. Got a nice cup of tea here as well. I forgot to do the live chat. Bear with me a second. But I hope everyone's doing well wherever you're listening to this or watching this now or in the future. I hope you're doing well, and I'm very much looking forward to this weekend. It should be good fun at Leeds. Cool. I'm just copying and pasting the live chat into here. Probably no one probably even turn up for this, to be honest. Anyway. But it's just a bit of fun. Just thought I'd stream it for fun. Yeah, no chat anywhere in there anyway, right now at least. So yeah, let's just refresh the page and just see what we can jump into here. Azalea versus Kano. Right, let's have a look. So Azalea's on 40 life at the moment, firing a red in the ledger. Xavier Murphy, I do recognise the name. Using some cool flesh and blood sleeves, actually, some variation on the sleeves there. But no armor's been broken, nothing at all. This is actually coming in with a name counter on it, so he is using the Sandscar Great Bow. Cool, so this is coming in for 8, I believe, with the take aim underneath it. It's got a name counter on it as well, but it doesn't really matter in this instance. But Kano just doing Kano things. Oh, okay, there is no effect. That's the thing, a red and ledger doesn't really affect wizards, unfortunately. It doesn't really do anything against them, because they can just play on your turn most of the time. Because Kano can essentially just pitch his stuff away now and then blast him in the face. Yeah, like he's doing, look, pitching to Kano now to then do something on, or as many actions as he wants at the end of Azalea's turn, because obviously he can only play one action next turn. So yeah, red in the ledger. We don't really have that many good tools against wizards, really. Especially Kano. You just have to go balls to the wall. I can see that this player has opted to use Null Rune, but I just don't think you need it. I think if you're pitching to Null Rune, you're pretty much already dead if you're doing that. So I think you just have to go balls to the wall in this particular matchup. But yeah, Sandscar Great Bow is one of those things where I want it to be good, but unfortunately it's just not really at that stage yet. So yeah, Andrew, welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for popping by. Just trying my hand at casting matches, essentially. But yeah, Sandscar Great Bow is a strange one. I appreciate a lot of people testing it out and trying it and what have you, and that's why I'm deciding to cast to do some casting today, just to see what other people are doing with Azalea, because I'm pretty much set on. I used to swear by Dreadbore, used to absolutely swear by it, but now I'm seeing the light of Death Dealer. Oasis of Spike plus Null Rune 2. That's where you need to stop the combo. That's true. Yeah. The Blazing Aether combo, not Blazing Aether. Well, Blazing Aether is a part of it, isn't it? But the bloody Aether Wildfire. So yeah, there's still quite a big life differential here, 9 life differential. But then Kano starts on 30 anyway, doesn't he? So I guess there's hardly any life differential actually. So opting with the Cross Raptor to reveal a drill shot. Activating Azalea, getting another drill shot off the top and firing it with the aim counter on it. So this is actually coming in with 4 Dominate Piercing. So if they block with equipment, then obviously it's not going to be as effective. And obviously if it hits, they can put a -1 counter on the Tunic, because that's the only thing that blocks in this particular matchup, isn't it? It's just the Tunic, yeah. The Tunic is the only thing that blocks in this matchup, so you just whack it on there, basically. Drill shot, I don't really know if you'd use that against Kano. It's a 0-cost arrow, but I just don't think you would use it against Kano because it doesn't do anything. It literally just makes their Tunic block for nothing. That's the only piece of armor they have. So I would probably side out the drill shot against Kano. Is Kano going to blast him here on the end of the turn? He's got 2 cards in hand. Null Rune of 3. Is he going to try it? Is he going to try and blast him? Drill shot does damage, depends on the number of arrows available. Yeah, that's true. It's a 0 cost arrow at the end of the day that then also whittles down their armour, but I don't know what else I would use instead of it. I definitely have them in my list. Oh, here we go. Kano Sigil. Oh no, it's Azalea that played the Sigil, right? Player 2, yeah. Oh no, player 2 is... He's just doing Kano things right now. Metacarpus node into Voltic Bolt. Oh, we undid their action. Okay. You can't do that live. You can't undo your actions live, people. Has to be a Kano game, didn't it? The first one that I try and describe what's going on. Not really much. Just pure actions going on. Player 2 lost 4 life from Voltic Bolt arcane damage, and he gained some life. Okay. So you basically prevented one of it. Sigils, I've got sigils in. No, I forgot. I think I've taken the sigils out of the list now. I think I've taken them out. Energy potion pass. That's pretty much it. Unless he wants to Kano. No. So revealing a sleep dart. Opting 1. He's put the card back on top, which means it's going to get an aim counter. If it's an arrow on top. Yeah, so it's going to get an aim counter because of Sandscour, and it's a fatigue shot. Interesting decision as to why they are using Sandscour, but 8 dominate coming in here, fatigue shot. Again, another arrow that doesn't do anything in this particular matchup. It's an arrow at the end of the day, but it does nothing really because they don't attack physically. So yeah, just taking a load of damage here. So this must mean they got the combo piece here, 14 to 36, taking a lot of damage. Tome of Fyendal. Yeah, here we go. This is a Kano combo. Tastic now. Gaining a load of life because of the tome as well. So they're activating Kano. Pitching Sonic Boom and Blazing Aether to do so. Revealing an Aether Wildfire. Here we go. Do we have the cards in hand to deal with this? Using the Crucible to buff it by 1. Using the Metacarpus to buff it by 1. And then here comes the Aether Wildfire for quite a lot of damage. 5 damage. And obviously that will pump each arcane instance by 5. He's pitched a 3 to that, by the looks of it. Oh, he's undoing his last action. Okay. These players are playing quite quickly. So Metacarpus node. Okay, he didn't activate Metacarpus node. Prognosticate he's dealing 1 arcane damage, which is actually going to be what, 6? Because of the, or did he prevent? Did he prevent it all? Did he? Jesus Christ! So that Aether Wildfire just didn't resolve. I completely missed that then. Revealing a Hemorrhage Boar in the arsenal. Seeing what's on top. Left the card on top. Activating Azalea to give it Dominate. It's another Hemorrhage Boar with an aim counter on it. So that's going to also trigger the on-hit effect if it goes through to blow up the arsenal, which is nice. Is there going to be any buffs behind this? Most likely. No, not at all. But it is still... It's a 3 Dominator. A 3 Dominate if it hits Destroy the Arsenal. I would laugh if Kano was being cheeky and had Nourishing Emptiness. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's the Storm Striders. They're going to try again. They're going to try again. 33 damage. Energy Potion up, as well as 2 Floating Resources. That's the 4 they need. I think Aether Wildfire costs 4, doesn't it? Pitching to Crucible as well to pump up the next thing. TY Charmers, party time. How's it going? Thanks for joining the chat. Hope you're doing well. Just going to be casting some Azalea games today. Just picking up and seeing what other people are doing with Azalea to see if I can get any last minute inspiration before the weekend. So Hemorrhage Boar after this is still coming in for 3 with Dominate, I believe. 3 Dominate and aim counter on it. Aether Weave gives the next thing +1. Here comes the Aether Wildfire coming in for... Is he going to crap the Metacarpus node as well? No, but he's activating Kano beforehand. Using the Ragamuffin's hat. putting a card on top of the deck, and then obviously using that as well before. Energy Potion, get 2 extra resources. Now I've got 4 resources floating. It's pretty mad. So the Aether Wildfire is going to come in first for a 6 arcane damage coming in. And they're pitching a blue to deal with that. So it's going to be 3 leaking over the top with the Aether Wildfire, which is ultimately going to make the Aether Spindle be 7. 7 arcane damage coming in. Because the extra 3, yeah, 7 arcane damage coming in, which they can still survive. They lost 2 life from that transaction, so they're probably pitching a red there to prevent 2 of it, so they take 5 from that. Hemorrhage Boar is still coming in for 3, and we've seen 2 Aether Wildfires been used now already. TY, that's right, party time. TY, there's 2 TYs in the chat. Are you the same person? Fab Kiwi, welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well. I had a Kano do 73 damage to me yesterday. Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I think the last minute inspiration should be Lager. Yeah, that's also a good idea, Andrew. Wildfires, flares, and blazings. Yeah, I had the same thing as well, mate. Because I only run Arcane Barrier 2 in my list, my Azalea list. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Arcane Barrier 2, and then they suddenly just absolutely rinse you. It's hard. But what do we think? Is there going to be a lot of Kanos? Is there going to be a lot of Kanos or not? Is there going to be a lot of Kanos? Is it going to be the same situation where people think, oh, there's not going to be much Arcane Barrier because Icelander's, you know, physical and a bit of Arcane, but not so much Arcane where you need to dedicate the 3? What are we thinking? Is there going to be a load of Arcane and Kanos are just sprouting up to potentially just rinse that? They're still going on. They're still going on here. The Hemorrhage Boar is still coming in. There's still Tome of Aetherwind, drawing 2 cards, pitching to Kano, 1 left over as well. Another Aether Spindle coming in. Obviously, all the arcane damage is still buffed by 3 because of the Aether Wildfire. So again, coming in for 7 with this Aether Spindle here as well. So they can only block 3 of it if they got another blue. Metacarpus Node, are they going to crack that in response? No, so this is still coming in for 7 damage. 7 arcane. What's he got? He's got another... He's lost 2 life. Player 2 lost 7 life. So he just dealt 7 damage, arcane damage. Still got 1 floating. Can't activate Kano again. He hasn't got the resources. So Hemorrhage Boar is still coming in here for 3. 2 Aether Wildfires later. I only run 2 against Kano and 1 versus Icelander. Alright. Take 3 just in case. Depends on if you're running Oasis Respite and if you plan on racing. Yeah, that's the thing. With my list, I got 2. Obviously, the great thing about Ranger, to a certain degree, is they have 2 as standard. They have the Skullbone and obviously the Bullseye Braces, which both have Arcane Barrier by default. So that's a good thing. But obviously, I'm actually potentially thinking of taking the Perch Grapplers out. But then you sometimes need that 2 block on your boots with a Ranger. Player 1-1. So Clem Clist won. So he won in the end. Wow. Lost 21 life from Blazing Aether. Wow. Jesus Christ. 21 damage. That's just madness. I guess if you need to stop this from happening, don't you? You need to stop it from happening. That is just madness. Oasis Respite just stops it outright, though, doesn't it? Obviously, it prevents the 4 damage, but obviously they can still use Crucible, and they can still use Metacarpus. So I think it depends what position you're in, but they can still push 6 damage through on an Aether Wildfire at the very least, if they wanted to, right? They have to pay 1 for each one of these things, but That's 2 cards. So yeah, obviously a blue, maybe a tunic. So maybe 1 card to then pump this up to 6. That's still quite a lot that you have to block. So committing a lot of Arcane Barrier to your board, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. It's hard. AB3 just didn't do nothing against it. That's the problem. So if AB3 doesn't do anything against it, what's the point? If AB3 does nothing. AB3 did absolutely nothing in that matchup there. Oasis Respite would have helped, but yeah, it's a shame. Never mind, eh? Let's see if we can get a different one. I take 3. Oh, I just read that. Depends on if you're running Oasis Respite. I've just read that message as well. My bad. Let's have a look, see if there's another one in here. There's got to be another one, surely. There we go. Azalea versus Dromai. More pain. So coming in with a matchup here, which is normally unfavoured, I'd say. But we're on the Dromai side here. All right, okay. Yeah, so currently Dromai's turn. We've got Remorseless Trigger on the stack and a Seek and Destroy on the stack. So the Dromai is going to discard their hand and arsenal at the end. So they're not going to get any cards in their arsenal this turn. Dromai is on lesser life right now, and Azalea will maintain the same amount of cards and the same amount of life to a certain degree, 28 versus 27. But they do have a board state. Do have a board state developed already, 3 Ashwings, which is a bit of a concern. So they're going to take aim, reload a card, probably opt to the cross wraps or revealing a drill shot. So this will come in for 7 unless they want to activate Azalea, which they are doing. So what's this going to be? They've left it on top. They're activating Azalea. What is this going to be? Is this going to be a Sleep Dart or Red in the Ledger? That could potentially stop a load of Ashwings coming in. They've played an... Oh, they're just going for the massive drill shot. Just going in for face here. 11 dominate to Dromai's face, and obviously if this hits, they get to put a -1 counter on one of their equipments. Probably would put it on the... Probably would put it on the Crown of Providence, I expect. Blocking with Mirror Guy. And they're going to take 8 damage to the face. Oasis Respite, okay. So they're going to block 7. Gain a life to make it back up to equal life. And still a little bit filtering over the top there, 4 damage, and they're going to put a -1 counter on the Flame Scale Furnace. Okay. Maybe because that has tempo, that can block multiple times. Well, it can only block for 1 now. But what I like about Drill Shot is the fact that it accrues value over the course of the game. I do like to get Drill Shots off early because they can just, towards the end of the game, when their equipment is blocking for 1 less than they thought it was, you know, in their mind they're seeing, oh, Crown blocks for 2 when it's actually blocking for 1 because you Drill Shotted it earlier. It can make a difference to a lot of things. But yeah, they're going to go very, very wide now. Azalea does need to disrupt Dromai. She needs to be firing Sleep Darts and Red in the Ledgers. And I think I actually added yellow Sleep Darts to my list for that reason recently. I can't remember. Or was it Hamstring Shot? I can't remember which one it was. It was either one of those. But I've sent my list off to Living Realms now for the Battle Hardened, so it is set in stone. So Rabble. So he's coming in at Chromai for this, which will kill it because it's on 2 life. So the Ravenous Rabble will kill the Chromai. Then he's going to activate Death Dealer, pitching a Drill Shot to load Red in the Ledger in there and draw a card. Is there a buff behind this? Because this could be quite useful. But what you do find as well is that Dromai does have a lot of D-Reacts and another Seek and Destroy coming in. Dromai does tend to have a lot of D-Reacts and Oasis just because they can pitch. They're red. Obviously, they're reds, aren't they? And they can pitch for the Oasis to then generate an Ash, which is a bit of an annoying situation. And obviously, when the Rake the Embers come in second cycle, whereas an Azalea player, you're pretty much screwed at that point because you just can't deal with that much stuff. Unless, of course, we have a explosive arrow in Outsiders. We'll see. The more likes on the video, the more games Az will win. Oh, fantastic! Cheers, Andrew. yeah, so if you're watching this now in the future, please like the video. That would be fantastic. But fully blocked a red in the ledger here, and rightly so, because obviously they can still swing back with 3 Ash Wings. So 1, 2, 3, and then whatever 2 cards they have left in their hand. So, yeah, rightly so that they're blocking out with red in the ledger. So it's now Dromai's turn. They're just going to... They've got 2 cards in hand, 3 Ash Wings. Manda Panda. Can see those likes creeping up. Lovely. Cheers, people. And that's it. They're just going to Arsenal pass, by the looks of it. Just Arsenal pass. They've got probably a few defensive options now. But it's straight back to Azalea. They do have a Tunic trigger, so this will open up another card, basically, to a certain degree, with the Death Dealer, which is quite good. So that's the thing with Tunic, is when you use Tunic to fuel Death Dealer, you essentially got a 5-card hand most of the time. Because you activate Tunic, activate Death Dealer, put a card from your hand into your arsenal, and then draw a card. So, yeah, you're pretty much playing with a 5-card hand if Tunic's up, and you got a full grip, so which is quite nice. Again, I used to swear by Dreadbore. I used to absolutely love Dreadbore, but I think the lines and the resources and the stuff that you get from Death Dealer is ultimately better, and it does encourage people to use their cards in their hand because they can actually use them, like D-Reacts and stuff. Dreadbore used to be... I think Dreadbore is still potentially my favourite just because of the design space of it, and obviously there's a couple of cool lines that it can actually achieve. Similar to like this, they've had to, here in this instance, they've had to crack their bullseye bracers to fire off a 5 go again bolt and shot, whereas if you had the Dreadbore out, you could have just loaded the bow with bolt and shot and fired it with go again on hit reload, and then you could have used a bullseye afterwards to load another thing in. So just depends how they look at this. They are going for the face here. Yeah, so they have gone for the face. They've reloaded another bolt and shot. They've used the Cross Raptor Opt so they can see what's on top, and they've put the card back on top. They've played Seek and Destroy, which then gives the Bolt and Shot, again, a 5 attack power with the on-hit reload effect as well. So yeah, coming again at Dromai's face. What are they going to do? They're probably just going to take it. They're taking it again. So what they got? Probably got another Tunic, so we're going to load in another arrow with Death Dealer and draw a card, so that's nice. A Searing Shot. Coming in for 4, and if it hits, lose a life. So a nice wide turn there. Searing Shot it's not actually in my list at the moment, Searing Shot. Maybe it should be. 0 for 5, pretty much, is pretty good. Might have to reconsider that. I have submitted my list, so actually no, I can't resubmit that. Never mind. Maybe I should have just casted these games tonight and then made a decision as to what my list would be, but we'll see what happens. So Sweeping Blow coming in here, creates an Ash when it attacks for 3 go again. They have just hit. They just let them hit there by the looks of it. Invoke Chromai, and they've just ended their turn, so they're gonna have to destroy their arsenal in hand. So Azalea maintaining card and life advantage, but the board is getting a bit out of control now, which is the issue that we have at this point in the game. Unfortunately, we can't clear that value engine that's going on over there. You've got Take Cover, revealing that to Opt to see what's on top. Bit of a risk, arsenaling a defense reaction against Dromai, because sometimes they might not attack you, which they haven't, which they did do actually, but choosing not to use Take Cover and instead using it for card selection. What have they got? What are they going to do? Well, it says opponent is disconnected. So hopefully that's just an internet issue. But that's the thing, yeah. If you get a defense reaction trapped in your arsenal and you use the Cross Raptor Opt, you know, if there's nothing on top that you can activate Azalea with and, you know, clear that out of your arsenal, you're in a bit of a sticky situation then, which is a bit of an issue. Which is why the old list I used to have a lot of attack actions in it, so you could still arsenal things like D-Reacts and still filter it to a certain degree, and then still have, like, at the worst case scenario, you could still snatch, or you could still command and conquer, or you could still E-strike and all that sort of thing. In my old list, my 70 card deck list, running all the cards known to man in there, you could still afford to put D-Reacts in your arsenal, but I don't know what's happening here. It says the opponent's disconnected. So we'll give it. No, player 1 wins. Opponents left the game. Never mind. Player 1 wins. So Dromai dropping out there for some reason. Don't know why that is. And let's try and find another one. See if another one's going on. Here we go. Azalea versus. Oh, that was the one we just done. So let's refresh it. Yes, that run them all list of mine. Yeah, absolutely, absolute classic, absolute as classic going on there. Run them all. Here we go. Azalea versus Icelander. In the dregs of the game here, by the looks of it. Bolt and shot coming in for 2. No blocks, no attack reactions. Cool, so Azalea's on 11, Icelander's on 10. There is a Channel Lake Frigid out, though, which obviously, at this point in the game, is going to be quite difficult to get round. E-Strike coming in, what's that going to be? Buff power, so just coming in for 7. Oh, they undid their action, never mind. So they're choosing Go Again instead for the Enlightened Strike, and they are blocking with 2 cards to prevent their life loss at this point in the game. So there is a Go Again after this still, though, and another Fyendal's Fighting Spirit. So, yeah. So, that's the thing. You know, Icelander is still running these cards. You know, these big attack actions. So the AB situation would just not work in this game, in this matchup in particular. They've already blocked their Perch Grapplers, and it looks like they're just going to take the 7. That's not good news. So it's over to Azalea's turn. They have a 3-card play here, so they're opting with the cross wrap. See what's on top. Cold Snap comes out of the arsenal, which means they're going to get a Frostbite, unfortunately. The actual effect does not really matter, but they do draw a card as well, so they do replace that card, which is quite nice. Oh no, this one does affect the arsenal, because it freezes it, doesn't it? Unless you pay 1. Yeah, so Cold Snap does affect Rangers. Freeze a card in their arsenal. Yeah, so that's a bit of an issue, unless the card on top is okay. You can just activate Azalea and just get around that frozen arsenal, which is another cool interaction. Because even if they freeze your arsenal, you can activate Azalea, get the frozen card out, and then a new card comes in, so it's not actually frozen anymore. But they did pay the 1 by the looks of it, with 1 floating as well. They pitched a Rain Razors to stop that from happening. So yeah, just a 3 coming in. The Icelander will probably just take this. They still got some blocks up as well. They still got the Ironhide Gauntlet. They still got Fyendals. They still got Coronet Peak. But they are just going to take the 3 damage by the looks of it. And then Azalea is just going to arsenal a card. Unless they have another arrow in their hand here, which they can pitch to Death Dealer with the 1 floating and then draw it. Put it in and draw it. But they are going to sink the Bolt and Shot here. So they are going to filter their hand a little bit potentially. Is that what they're going to do? Or are they going to keep what's in their hand? Chain Link was resolved. Didn't actually say on the thing whether they chose to filter a card or not. But yeah, Arsenal pass from Azalea. They're going to Waning Moon at the end. They've got 1 floating, so they can pitch to that, but still take 1 from that transaction. Waning Moon is a bitch. It really is. Richard Potter, do you think there will be a new common bow in Outsiders or a reprint of Death Dealer with added aim counter text? Interesting question. If Ranger is a draftable hero, they need to put a bow in the set, don't they, as a token weapon? And with what James White said to me, and obviously with the stuff we've seen in Dynasty, the aim counters and all that sort of thing, I think it makes sense if we are going to see Ranger or Azalea in some form. If Ranger is a draftable class, they need to add a token weapon, which says to me it could either be a reprint or it could be something that sort of interacts with the new mechanics in the set, which is probably the more viable thing. Aim counters were apparently part 1 of 2 of Azalea's development, so we're probably going to see that development in this next set or the set at the end of the year. But I think it's probably going to be this set. This is the one that, Outsiders. She's from the pits, isn't she? So makes sense. As James White did say as well, that Azalea is going to be a returning hero in the set. So we don't know still what capacity that will be. We are hoping to get James on the Living Legends podcast over on Red Zone Rogue's channel to hopefully get him on before that, so we can get a bit more information on. Because who better to speak about Ranger and Azalea than me and Red Zone Rogue? Let's be honest. So hopefully the Living Legends podcast will have the scoop on what capacity we would see Azalea in. But speaking of which, coming in with a Bolton shot here for 7 with Go Again. With a Seek and Destroy on the stack as well. But they are going to pitch to their Tunic. They got 1 floating as well. And here we go. Here comes the Storm Striders. It's World Championship all over again. Emeritus Scalding coming in for the lethal damage. Nothing Azalea can do about it. 4 arcane damage. GG's, I think. Unfortunately. Or do they have enough? They're on 1 life. Waning Moon. Oh, there we go. That's it. That's it, isn't it? 3 arcane damage. You can only pitch for 1. Nothing you can do. Waxit wins. Yeah. It's a tough one because Icelander just basically just takes extra turns during your turn. And that's just... It's hard to really get your head around that. Azalea versus Bravo. Let's go. Just started. Coming in with a crippling crush already. Oh dear. This is not a good start. So is this the first turn? No, it's not the first turn. They blocked with Crown of Providence and Iron Rock Legs already, and there's a -1 counter on their Crater Fist. Wow, okay, so Azalea must have come in pretty hard on the Bravo player, but now coming back with an 11 dominated Crippling Crush. Nothing we really don't like to see it. But obviously, with this loadout as well, they've got Hornet Sting in play, so that's quite interesting. It was a consideration on my list. Simply for matches where you need to block things, but they have just taken the damage and discarded 2 random cards. They've opted to reveal a red in the ledger, playing Read the Glide Path from hand and just cracking back for 8 by the looks of it with the Tunic resource, or have they got another buff in their hand here? Oh, they're activating Azalea. Another Drill Shot. Okay, here we go. Dominated Drill Shot. 1 floating from the Tunic if needed, but probably not going to be needed here. But yeah, that's pretty much taking away, if they want to, if they let this hit, they're taking away the Crater Fist entirely, or they're minusing 1 on the Tectonic Plating. So if this was me, I would probably put a -1 counter on Tectonic Plating, because then both of the armor pieces then block for 1. So if they commit both of them, they both die at the end. So I think that's probably the... oh no, the Battle Worn won't die. So... I'll probably just I'll probably just put 1 on the Tectonic Plating. I like to spread the counters out a little bit, but blocking with a pummel here, 5 still going over the top. Evening Sven, hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I see you here. You are due a package from me, by the way, so it is going to be coming out soon once I've got the mats in. Should be here by the end of the week. All those mats should be here by the end of the week, so I'll be sending those out, hopefully, when I get back from Leeds. So they'll be going out probably early next week now, along with all the Patreon pool rewards and all that sort of thing. Okay, so they're activating Bravo, so another dominated attack coming in. Or is that just to float some stuff for Anathos? Yeah, just to float some stuff for Anathos coming in for 6. Keep forgetting that Bravo can do that. You can pitch 2 things to Bravo, can you? No. Oh yeah, they activated the Tectonic Plating and then pitched to Bravo to get the 6 on the Anathos. Right, okay, I understand. Sorry, I'm not a Bravo player. Blocking with a Bolton shot and taking 3. So Bravo's armor's whittled down here, but Azalea needs to do something. Fatigue Shot is one of those cards that takes a lot of value away from Bravo. So yeah, I'd like to see Fatigue Shot. It's one of those cards that is in my deck. Release Attention as well, great card. Pseudo sort of Dreadbore effect, but only from the arsenal, which is nice. So sometimes the Bravos do like to put unmovables and all these horrible D-reacts in their arse. So, you know, it's nice to play the Release Attention, 0 cost buff effect. Activating Azalea as well to put a Sleep Dart in there, so take away the Dominate. So, yeah, if this hits, they take away the dominating effect. So they could have gone one of either 2 ways there. They could have played the... I don't know. I think I would have preferred to play the Fatigue Shot in this instance. Sleep Dart's going to take away the Dominate, but Fatigue Shot takes away the value of the attack. So it's interesting one. So they're choosing to be able to block rather than reduce the value. It's an interesting decision. I probably would have went for the fatigue shot. Maybe they're just going for the damage leaking over through the dominate here, but I would have went for the fatigue shot, I think. Even though it's not dominated, I probably would have still went for it. Because the on-hit effect then really does devalue their entire turn. It also, yeah, Crippling Crush coming in here. They should have shot the fatigue shot at them instead, because Crippling Crush would have been halved in power. So that would have made it a lot easier to block. We'd block with 2 cards. And maybe a piece of equipment. So yeah, they should have shot the fatigue shot there. I think you should always shoot the fatigue shot if it's available to you against Bravo. That's what I've learnt recently. But hey, all good. Just been busy on the stream nights. Good. Look forward to the package. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for showing up today, mate. It's nice to have you here. Life gets busy every now and again. I don't know why you do both. Keeping 2 floating messes with the defender. What do you mean? What do you mean? I've missed that completely. But yeah, they have managed to defend it. They have managed to defend this here with a take cover, Hornet Sting, and Bolt and Shot. So no crush effect's going to go through, unfortunately. So they are going to take. They're still going to take 3. Yeah, Hornet Sting taking that above the crush gate there, which is quite nice. So yeah, Hornet Sting's a good little piece against this matchup. But still a differential in life here. So coming in with an E strike with a go again. Interesting. So I don't know why they would choose go again unless they have a 0 cost attack action in their hand, because they can't, or they can. I guess they could use the tuning trigger to load the arrow in with Death Dealer, draw a card. They can do that. That line is available to them, so they can use that. When Bravo activated the Tech Titan plate and they used his ability into the hammer, 2 floating resources, possible pummel. Yeah, that's the nice piece of information that that you should probably keep on board if you can. I guess if that sort of information is available for you to put there, it probably is. So they're blocking with a sink below here. So 1's still going to leak through on the Enlightened Strike. A card was put them on the bottom of the deck. Tunic Resource, activate Death Dealer, Endless Arrow, draw a card, coming in for 4. If it hits, back into the arsenal. Endless Arrow, another card that I absolutely loved in my old list, but it is now not in my new list. Endless Arrow is not in there anymore. Drill Shot is just better. It's just so much better. Drill Shot is amazing. Absolutely love it. There is actually a Living Legends podcast episode coming out tomorrow with our favourite cards from this year. So look forward to that one. That's a good one. So they're just going to be swinging with Anathos here after pitching through to Crater Fist. So coming in for 6. They did have a Crippling Crush, but they've now arsenaled it. So they have shown the Azalea player that they do have a Crippling Crush coming in. But they're doing what you said here, Andrew, and floating that 2 to give the impression that there is a pummel potentially on the end of this. But we know that is not the case because they've already revealed their Crippling Crush, which is probably a mistake on their end, probably rushing a little bit. It's not better for killing dragons. What, Endless Arrow? Yeah, but if we're killing dragons, we've lost already, I think. I think the Dromai match is pretty much an auto loss anyway. At this point, unfortunately, you just have to go. You just have to go for the face and then occasionally shoot a dragon sometimes. So this is good. This is a good one. 8 dominate fatigue shot coming in at Bravo here. They know they've got because they revealed it, the Crippling Crush. So yeah, fatigue shot is always an issue, especially when Bravo's got none of his fridge left. It's one of those cards that needs to be blocked because it takes away so much value from the macho grande man himself. Halving the attack value of Bravo's cards is very good. So yeah, definitely the right decision here to fire an 8 dominated fatigue shot at the opponent with a Seek and Destroy on the stack as well. So if this hits, they do have to discard their hand and arsenal as well, which is quite good. And the arsenal is the Crippling Crush, I believe. So speaking of Macho Grande, there it is, blocking for 3, and they're taking the rest. They're just going to tear asunder and then come in with an Anathos. So if this hits, they discard a card. Well, discard 2 cards, isn't it? So Fatigue Shot, unfortunately, doesn't get round the... they probably will block the piece of equipment. Oh, they undid their last action. Okay, they're very indecisive. Papa Pool here. Just coming in for 5 Dominate with the Tear Asunder. I think it's exactly the same as what was happening before, but I think the Azalea player needs to block with the Perch Grapplers now. Blocking with the Cross Wrap. Okay, keeping up the 2 block by the looks of it. Fateful Scene, there we go. There's the maths. There's the 1 plus the 4. Getting rid of the Anathos and the Tear Asunder trigger. Good stuff. Someone screwed up. They needed to keep the Macho to get +2 on the hammer. Yeah. So pitching, read the glide path, activate Death Dealer, put Bolt in shot on the arsenal, draw a card, read the glide path, see what's on top again. 6 go again if it hits reload. So if that's another 0 cost attack in their hand, that could be quite a nice line. But I think we've now seen 2 Crippling Crushes, or is it all of them? So we've seen all of the Crippling Crushes already from the Bravo player. So blocking with the Pummel here, maybe a Sink or D-React. There we go. So blocking for 6, potentially sinking a card, stopping the on-hit effect. But Azalea still with 19 life, 5 cards in hand against 2. They're probably just going to swing with a hammer here, by the looks of it. Yep, hammer for 6. And this is the territory that you'll get into. Unfortunately, just 6 coming in every single turn and just whittling your cards away. And this is the tough part as an Azalea player. But they've used a take cover well here to then set up their next turn. They've got a Tunic on their turn now as well, so they can rabble first of all for 4, revealing a Searing Shot, which can be dominated off the top, which is quite good. So 4 go again, plus the next arrow attack. So Bravo's thinking here. Pass reactions, 2 reactions. They've taken the 4 damage. So what's the Azalea player going to do here? They obviously want to use another Ravenous Rabble, interesting, for 4. And obviously they can still use their Tunic trigger to load in, if that's an arrow in their arsenal, they can load that in and then fire it with the card they've just drew. So yeah, Death Dealer does sort of enable a little bit wider turns sometimes because you just get more resources. So blocking with an Imposing Visage, so leaking 1 damage here, brings it back to life equality at 19 each. And then they're going to use a Take Aim. They undid their last action, yeah, I would imagine so. So that's a bit of a shame. They had no arrow to fire there, so that's a bit of a shame. Just Ravenous Rabbles and buffs. But now it's 5 cards against 3 with equal life. So activating Bravos gives something Dominate, 1 floating. Pitching Rouse the Ancients. Okay, so now he's going to Spinal Crush. This is horrible. So this is probably going to be... Yeah, so this is if they've got a D-React in their hand or their arsenal, they need to use this to stop this. Yeah, as I thought, blocking with Perch Grapplers, using a Fateful Scene. There we go. Lovely old job. You don't want that. You don't want that happening. Spinal Crush, I've learned a lot of times when playing in real life that all of your cards lose Go Again, even your buffs. So you need to block that stuff out because it just devalues your entire turn as a ranger. So, rightly so. So this is good now. They've got a Tunic resource up. They've got a card in their arsenal, so they could potentially go wide, very wide on or tall here. So they're going to reload a card. They're going to opt it. Or they can't. It's not. They've got no opt left. They're going to activate Azalea blindly for a fatigue shot. But they saw that was there with the Fateful Scene earlier. So this is a massive 11 dominated fatigue shot. This is what you like to see. 11 dominated fatigue shot. Fatigue shot probably the OP arrow, the MVP arrow in this matchup. So yeah, blocking with a CNC. We'd love to see it. And then he's going to hit for 7. And their next attack is halved. Apart from the hammer, of course. The hammer is still viable. So still coming in for 7 dominate, sorry. Because of the double blue pitch. Wow, okay. So that's gonna hit. And they're gonna discard 2 cards. Or is it just 1? It's 2, isn't it? Yeah, wow. Okay, what we got? So even in the sort of second cycle with the blues, that tear asunder is just absolute madness later on in the game. It really is. Knock of Death Whistle, they can probably go and get a 0-cost arrow and fire that off with Dominate, but that's pretty much it. Searing Shot would probably be the most damage dealer. Drill Shot wouldn't really do anything. It would obviously get rid of the... well, they're using the Drill Shot. Here we go. Is get rid of the armour and that's left in the tectonic plating. But that's it. But probably just going to see Bravo coming in with a hammer now each turn for 6, or tear us under again. Here we go. Another hammer for what? 7 again? Because 2 blues have been pitched. Yeah. They got the second cycle nailed here by the looks of it. 2 blues coming in with a tear asunder trigger. 7 dominate. Nothing you can really do to stop this. Even if you chuck Tunic in front of it and block with a D-react, there's nothing you can do to stop the on-hit going through. So that's horrible. My blues beat your blues. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the functionality of Bravo's blue cards is just next level, isn't it? Yeah, so going down to 2 here. This is it. This is it now. Bravo can just activate Dominate, activate his Dominate ability over and over again. Just coming in for 5. Not much really. This is going to do. They obviously 1 action per turn. This could prevent Bravo from using his effect, his dominating effect. So that could be relevant. Yeah, so if he activated his ability, that'll be his action for the turn. So maybe he does need to think about blocking this with at least 2 cards to prevent the on-hit effect going through, unless he has some form of big D-react in his hand, which he can pay for. But that'll pretty much be his whole turn. There we go, unmovable. There it is, blocking for 5. Yeah, so tectonic plating, here we go. CNC for 6. They can only block with actual attack cards to prevent this from hitting. So we will see what happens. Blocking with overflex. Oh, you hate to see it with two blocks in hand there. That's really, really inefficient, unfortunately. Overflexes, I've actually taken out of the list because they cost 1. The 0 cost is better. But coming in with a 5 fatigue shot, again, could still be relevant to... on the defensive turn at least, to stop the extra damage coming through, any crush effects and all that sort of thing. But fully blocking out here to prevent the on-hit, and they're going to Arsenal and pass. So Azalea still holding on here to the hope that she doesn't get smacked in the face with the hammer at the last minute. But yeah, Bravo with 2 cards in hand, probably blues, which he can use to throw the hammer at least. And they can still pitch their tectonic plating as well, right? Yeah. Coming in for 8 with a choke slam. Wow, okay. So this would need 2 cards if they're D-reacts, or quite a few cards if they're not. But obviously we know that Ranger's got a lot of 2 blocks, potentially 0 blocks with Rain Razors, Memorial Grounds and what have you. So yeah, this probably could be the final straw, depending on what they have in their arsenal, but they're not getting any hits through at the moment. 16 cards to 33 cards in deck. This is just a bit of a tricky situation to get out of now. So they have to further commit 2 cards to this to not let it hit. Or you could block with a Tunic and then play a D-react, which is 1 card to stop the hit going through, and still have a 3-card crackback. But I just don't know if that's going to be enough. No, they've got Ravenous Rabbles and stuff, so they're going to take that all you got. Okay. And again, that all you got, I don't know why they're using that in this game. That's just doesn't work. I don't understand why you would use that. Another red in the ledger coming in for 5. So they're keeping the activation of Bravo's ability at bay by firing these cards, these red in the ledgers, but ultimately I just don't think it's going to do enough. Another blue unmovable. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one to get through, and that's why Dreadbore at this point in the game would be decent, right? You'd be able to get those on hits through when it's like 4 cards to 4 cards. You're just trading blows with the cards that you have in your hand. Dreadbore really does help with that. That's the thing, where if you get down to this stage of the game, Dreadbore is better, because you can just fire arrows that have evasion, which is more crucial at this point in the game. But Death Dealer just gets you so much value during the course of the game, which is why a lot of people are using it. And then Dreadbore's harder to sort of work around as well with the current lists and variations of the lists that are out there for Azalea at the moment. That all you got as well just doesn't replace itself in this matchup, so I don't know why you would use that. I'd rather just have an arrow that blocks for 3. I'd rather just have another arrow that blocks for 3 rather than all you got, because it never replaces itself in this matchup. But still threatening some damage here at the very end with Take Aim, Drill Shot. But they are down to their last couple of cards now, 12 against 29. So Bravo can just keep blocking these cards and just fatigue now. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, blocking with pummels and stuff. They can just fatigue the Ranger at this point. Probably going to run out of arrows at some point as well. Yeah, just going to end their turn and pass back. They're just going to let the Ranger come to them now, I think, by the looks of it, which is not a good spot for us to be in. So yeah, the Ranger's got 13 cards left. Activating the Tunic, pitching that to the Death Dealer to put an arrow in there, draw a card. What's it going to be? Endless Arrow. E-Strike for Go Again. So this could be a little bit of a threat here, because obviously we're going a little bit wider than just going tall. We're still in a tricky spot here. They have to decide whether... But I think at this point, yeah, the Bravo just fatigues Azalea, right? At this point. Just taking the damage. Overflex. Coming in with 8 Endless Arrow, which they're probably just going to block out. They don't want the Endless Arrow hitting, because obviously it's one of the cards that just keeps recurring itself every so often. So they just want to get rid of this, really, which is a bit of a shame. Azalea hanging on to the very end here, but going to be interesting to see what Bravo does with this, because this is technically still lethal. If Bravo lets this hit, he dies. So he needs to understand that it is still coming in for lethal. Some time is being taken from the Bravo player here, by the looks of it. Deciding what he wants to do with this Endless Arrow. Sink below for 4. So after this, and another blue immovable. So yeah, blocking out the entire thing. Yeah, not much the Azalea player can do against that. Azalea's got 10 cards left in the deck. I think Bravo's just going to just pass the turn. Just getting a Seismic Surge for his crackback. Oh, he's coming in for CNC. Okay, so yeah, that's threatening. So they have to block with 2 cards at least, which block for 3, and that's, yeah, okay, it's not efficient at all. They're blocking for 5, so they're going to go down to 1. So they've probably got 1 activation left of Death Dealer. So putting the Red and Ledger back in there and firing that off then. For 5. And again, preventing Bravo from using his activated ability there if they let the hit go through. And 5 is still a big number. But after this attack, Azalea's got 6 cards left in the deck. So Bravo just wants to block this out and then just carry on. 1 Dominate to rule them all. 1 Arrow to find them. 1 Bow to bring them all. And in the pits, bind them. That's good, wasn't it? It's pretty good. So they've passed. What are they going to do? D-react? Oh, they've rain-razored. They need a D-react now. They need a deep... Wow! Bravo just died. Bravo just died. Wow. There we go. Look at that. Nice one. Papa Pool saying whoopsie GG. So there we go. Bravo dying at the end there. Why didn't they block? I don't know. Outplayed, they said. But yeah, why didn't they block? I have no idea, Andrew. That's what they could have done, right? Just block at the end there. Just block. Even if they blocked for... Even if they committed 2 cards to that, that was blocking 6, right? So the Rain Razors would have been pushed up to 1. So they would have taken 1 damage if they blocked for 2 cards. Arrogance, absolutely. Yeah, so they should have blocked. I'm not even a Bravo player, and I was just like, right, you just block this out at this point, right? Why would you do that? Maybe it's just because they're on Talishar. Maybe they're just like, yeah, I'll take my chances. But yeah, you don't let that happen. Let's be honest. Yeah, you don't let that happen. Cool, right, so let's go into this Azalea Phi game, which has just gone underway. 11 go again. 11 go again if it hits reload coming in at Phi here. Tubby Watkins. He should have won by decking her out. Absolutely, Albaz, the Shrouded. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And I think that's ultimately what should have happened there. Bravo had about 20 cards left in his deck. Azalea had 6. So you just don't take the risk, do you? Let's be honest. You do not take the risk. But Azalea here in this Phi matchup, making Phi block with Assault the Wound. So, yeah, quite some good stuff going on here. Release Attention, Read the Glide Path, Seek and Destroy, all on the stack here. So this is going to hit, reload a card. Is this going to be another attack coming in at Lemren? It's a Bolt and Shot, so it is going to be another attack coming in after they've opted. So we're going to opt to see what comes first. But are they just going to fire this off for 3? Or are they going to... They probably should, shouldn't they? There we go, firing off for 3. Cool. So the race is on in this game, by the looks of it. There's a Seek and Destroy trigger on the stack as well, which means Phi is going to have to discard his hand and arsenal at the end of his turn. But yeah, 3 cards is still, still a large hand for Phi. You can just play them all out, deal some damage, plus swing his Kodachis, of course. So yeah, pitching a Soul Breed Strike to swing a Caramelized Kodachi. So that is a 1 with Go Again coming in. No blocks from Azalea. Damage dealt, and obviously coming in again. 1 Go Again. Just slicing the life down here. By the way, I'm a new player and I'm interested in building a Lexi or Azalea deck, but I am a budget player, maximum 30. Is there any hope for me? Yes, there is hope for you. Just not in the Legendaries. Legendaries are the most expensive things at the moment for any new player. But this is why... Do you have a Talishar account, Albaz? Because this is where you test out the decks with the pieces. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting on Talishar, playing some games, and just finding out what you want to build, what you want to play. Azalea is a hard one to build, and a hard one to play, and a hard one to sort of get through matches on. But there's going to be a lot more support for her in the next set. So if range is your thing, get the cards when you can, while you can. It's just coming in with a Rupture trigger here. Was that the Rupture? No, it's just a 5. A 5 for nothing. 5 for 1, sorry. So, yep, they took all the damage there. Seek and Destroy trigger. Still got 4 cards, of course. So pitching to Death Dealer, 1 floating, putting a card into the arsenal and drawing. So let's see what we got going on here. A $30 Lexi deck, it could be possible, yeah. Could well be. I'm not very versed in what she does. Remorseless is a great card against Phi, because obviously they want to dump their hand every turn. So this basically reads a 9 attack card. Because they are not gonna want to block. Because if Phi blocks once, they probably are on the back foot. So 8 coming in here. If they let this hit, every action they play next turn costs them a life. So as soon as you get Phi blocking things, that's when you know you're in a good space. And this is one of the cards that will hurt them. It will hurt them. So this is essentially reading 12 damage at the moment if they don't block. So they're blocking with an Ancestral Empowerment, which is a good one. Blocks for 3. Going to take 5. Okay. So they're essentially going to take 8 damage over the course of now and their turn, by the looks of it. Arsenal and pass. Lovely. So an E-Strike coming in for buff power, or is it go again? Just so they can Arsenal a card. Yeah, buff power. Excuse me. So yeah, just choosing to use the buff power effect and not lose so many life by going wide, and obviously blocking as well at the same time. So Remorseless effect is now ended. Fi's now got a 5-card hand, so we do need to disrupt this next Fi turn, otherwise the damage output is going to be insane. So activating the cross wrap here to see what's on top, see if we want to activate Azalea to put maybe a buff in there or something else. They have put that card on the bottom, but they are playing now a read the glide path to see again what the next card is on top. So going 2 cards deep with the Opt on this turn, trying to find something that hopefully disrupts Fi's game plan and pushes more damage through. 14 to 17 at the moment. Alison Oram, haven't seen you here for a while. Hope you're doing well. I do remember the name as well. I do remember you popping in a few times. The Shroud Commoner is super cheap. Yeah, you can start by playing Commoner as well, Albaz, which is always a good shout. So yeah, coming in for 7, go again. This is half of Fi's current life total with an on-hit reload trigger. So yeah, but with this, he doesn't have to go for the on-hit reload trigger. He can use the Bullseye Bracers to then go in with something else after this as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, giving Fi a decision to make as to whether he wants to block this. But regardless, you're probably going to be able to put something into the arsenal anyway with the Bullseye Bracers with the extra +1. And this is probably the time where you do it. This is probably the time where you threaten that. While you're on the play, while you're on the tempo, it's worth doing, I think, because it is balls to the wall in this matchup. Or I'm remembered. Yeah, of course you are. I do remember a name every now and again. It's not like I'm getting hundreds of people in the chat, is it? I do remember the names that pop in, you know, every now and again. So yeah. Where are you from, by the way? Where are you watching us in the world? So fully blocked this, but again, they're probably going to... all Rain Razors coming through to push through 2 extra damage and get the on-hit reload, which is nice. So the on-hit reload is going to go in. So reload has been done, and now they're going to activate Azalea. Okay, Fatigue Shot coming in here for 7 because of the Rain Razors, so that's nice. Fatigue Shot, not really something that really bothers Fi that much. I mean, he does have some Rupture triggers, but it only halves the base power of their attack. Doesn't get rid of any buffs or anything. So Fatigue Shot, I don't think I would choose to run it in this matchup, but, you know, each to their own. It's something that blocks for 3, I guess, but with Fi, if you get into the blocking, if you're trying to block Fi all the time, you're in a bad position as well as Azalea. So it's very much you trade damage in this game. It's like you take a load of damage, he takes low damage, you take a load of damage, you take a low damage. But what your damage equates to is also interaction. So that's what you need to find first. You need to try and find that as quickly as you can against Fi, even if it's like a hamstring shot or something. Hamstring shot would be much better than Fatigue Shot right now, I think. Because if it hits, their next attack costs them 1 more, which in a Fi deck would probably cost them a card, right? It's a pseudo tax effect on Hamstring Shot, whereas Fatigue Shot's not really doing much really in this matchup because he goes wide a lot more, and you just play a crap attack, wouldn't you, to the first one? You probably play a 2 attack, a 2 cost attack. First attack action card is halved, so I'll check out. I must have missed something here. Check out Remmer's videos for budget decks. Oh yeah, Remmer's on YouTube. Cardboard Swords. Yeah, he does a lot of budget deck tech. So go and check that out. As for Commoner, I live in Greece, and the only hope to play in real life is to go to Blitz or CC. I already have a budget Kasai deck and a 5 precon with minor upgrades. So I want to have a CC deck as well. CC is where the experience is with Flesh and Blood. I feel it's pretty much exclusively all I play. But yeah, Blitz is much more varied and yeah, a lot quicker games and stuff. So yeah, Red and the Ledger in the arsenal here, very, very good against Fi. They are going to want to block this out somehow. Memorial Ground, putting the other Red and Ledger back on the top. Give it Dominate. Red and Ledger was selected, yeah. So going to give Red and Ledger Dominate here. They've got Tunic Trigger to play with as well. So hopefully there's a buff in the hand here which will push the damage through on Fi. Okay, so just 5 Dominate, probably a Rain Razors, or maybe even Razor Reflex or something in hand here. They've got 1 floating, so they are sort of telegraphing that they do have something to play over the top. And this is, again, a card that Fi probably needs to block because their turn is just absolutely awful if this attack hits. Because obviously, if this hits, they can only play 1 action on their next turn. Fi likes to play multiple actions, as we all know, right? So this is where Fi needs to block with Mask or with something else. But it looks like we're probably going to see something over the top of this as well. We've got 1 floating here, plus a Resource Tunic if we need it. So yeah, it looks like we're going to push some damage over the top regardless. Yes, Alison, you're right. Red and the Ledger is so strong in this matchup. As we can see here, they are blocking for 5. Is there going to be something over the top? I imagine there probably is. There we go. Rain Razors. We knew it was coming. Likelihood is they won't have any D-Reacts or any defensive cards. No, absolutely not. So we're just going to Arsenal and pass, and they're just going to play 1 attack, 1 action on their turn, which is absolutely disgusting. And then next turn we've got a Opt with the card in the arsenal. We've got a Tunic Trigger. We've got a 5-card play. It's going to be a hard one to come back from here, I think, with Fi. So it's 5 to 15 here. Coming in with a Mounting Anger. That's the only thing they can do this turn. Probably just going to take the damage. Are we going to take damage? 4 damage? Are we going to take it? Yeah. So there's nothing they can do about that. Red and Ledger is absolutely vile against Fi. And then we're coming in here with a 5-card hand with Tunic Resource floating and available to us. So this is going to be absolutely ridiculous. So Enlightened Strike being flipped face up. From the Skullbone Crosswrap activated ability, choosing to put that card on the bottom of the deck. So we're going to see what another card is on the top by using the Read the Glide Path ability, and we're going to see what that is. Put the card on top of the deck. Cool, so they're going to play another Read the Glide Path. This is going to be a big Dominated Arrow coming in for the win here, I imagine so. Seek and Destroy, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a massive arrow? They're going to activate Azalea, use a Tunic, and then fire it off. This is going to be it. This is going to be it for Fi. Drill Shot coming in. Doesn't even cost anything. 14 Dominate. That is it. Surely. That is GG's. Wow. There we go. Killing Fi. Absolutely. Oh, baby. That was a tough one. Tubby Watkins. GG. Opponent is disconnected. Azalea versus Reinhardt. Let's jump into this one. Right at the end game here by the looks of it. Perch Grapplers are gone. Battering Bolt in the Arsenal turn face up. And I don't know who's on the play here. Who is on the play here? I'm not sure. Activated Bullseye Braces. So okay, they put the Battering Bolt into the Arsenal with Bullseye Brace, the last play. Coming in with a Deadeye. Or they undid their last action. Coming in with an Overflex. Pitching the Deadeye. And then firing the Battering Bolt for 11 damage. Okay, nearly lethal. But yeah, forcing some blocks here. 2 Savage Feast, barraging Bighorn, and yeah, blocking for 9. And a Fine Down Spring Tunic. Okay, so they're blocking as much damage as possible on this. So they're going to take 1. So they're still going to have the on-hit effect. But that doesn't really affect Reinhardt. Doesn't really have much D-Reacts and all that sort of thing, apart from Reckless Swing, of course. But that might even be in the Arsenal, the Reckless Swing. So Overflex, reloading an arrow into the Arsenal. So Bolt and Shots, that will have Go Again on hit reload, which is nice. 8 Go Again on hit reload. That's pretty good. Does force some blocks because we know there's another arrow going to come in after this. So is he going to block for the full thing? Yes, makes sense. And this matchup, Canic Cake is using Sandscar Greatbow. So they're going to see what's on top here by pitching the Deadeye. And they can put an arrow card from their hand or their arsenal the top of their deck into their arsenal if they want. They undid their last action. Okay. putting a headshot in with an aim counter. They're just going to take damage, and then they're going to Arsenal and pass. They've got 2 cards left. They're just going to pass by the looks of it. Yeah, so just going to pass back. So Azalea's got the tempo here, going to opt with the cross wrap, revealing a Remorseless to see what's on top. That card's gone to the bottom of the deck. Okay. So what else have they got in their hand here? Are you grinding out Azalea this PQ season? I am taking Azalea to a Battle Hardened in Leeds, but I'm not grinding any PQs, any Pro Quests or anything. It's not really what I'm about, to be honest. I don't really have the time to do that, unfortunately. Yeah, any event I take Azalea to, pretty much. But I'm playing her in Battle Hardened this weekend in Leeds in the UK. That should be fun. My deck list has already been submitted, so I've submitted it earlier on today. I just thought I'd jump on to see if there's any sort of inspired Azalea builds going on here. But we've had some good results while I've been casting this. Godwin Reserve, hello, how's it going, my mate? How's it going? Thanks for coming along. But yeah, Azalea's on the play here. She's put a card at the bottom of the deck from opting for the cross wrap. So yeah, we've got Remorseless in the arsenal plus a 4-card hand. So this is still a pretty good place to be, depending on what's there. We are going to Memorial Ground to get an arrow onto the top. Bolt and Shot was selected. Okay, so we're going to go for a go wide here instead of a go tall. So we're probably going to activate Azalea. Oh, okay, they've kept it. They've kept it there. Oh, okay. All right, they're blocking with the skull cap anyway. Scalps and levers and skull crack, so fully blocking out the Remorseless. And then there's Arsenal on pass. So 4 cards against 5. Coming in with Wild Ride, 6 damage coming in. Depending on what Azalea has in her hand here, I imagine she probably just wants to take this damage because she'll go down to, what, 5? 7? No, 6. 6 damage minus 11. What's that? 7. Can't do maths. Player 1 is saying, lol, such a bad hand. Yeah, brute life, baby. Headed home from work. Nice. Have you had a good day, though, Hank? That's the main thing. It will be an adventure, Alison says. Absolutely, yeah. It's always an adventure. I should be capturing it on GoPro as well, so you should have... if you're interested, that is, you should have a video coming out with the sort of Leeds Battle Hardened vlog. So blocking with a Sink Blow from Arsenal to leak 2 damage here, and then we still got a 4-card hand to crack back with on the offensive turn. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Canonic Cake has to fire back with here. I mean, I always love leaving work. Absolutely. It's a great feeling, isn't it? Absolutely great feeling. Oh, yes, I'm going home now. Yay. Cool, so Azalea on the play now. 9 life to Reinar's 7. 4-card hand to come with. Here we go, knock with Death Whistle, so that's going to get any arrow of our pleasing, and then giving it Dominate, essentially. So coming in with red in the ledger with an aim counter on it. Not sure if that's going to make any difference, really, but still a horrible card. Seek and Destroy as well, comboed with this, is absolutely vile. Coming in for 8 now with Dominate. If it hits, they discard their hand and Arsenal and can only play 1 action next turn. So what are they going to do? Is there a Reckless Swing in that Arsenal? No, doesn't look like it. We all know how savage Reckless Swing can be at this point in the game. Coming in for Swing Big, that's always an issue when you're playing against Reinar. Azalea can take... Oh, they have undid their last action. Okay. Oh, they're coming in again with a Swing Big. Pitching Lead the Charge. So this is coming in for 8. I imagine there is a pummel somewhere because they're floating 1. They've got 1 card in their hand and 1 in their arsenal. So this is probably going to be some form of D-react. So some form of attack reaction. Could be, couldn't it? Could be an attack reaction. So if they push over 4 over the top, they survive now. So we'll see if this is an attack reaction. No. Okay. So overflex, putting a long shot in there. Okay. Could be better. But they've activated Azalea. Okay, fair enough. Oh yeah, because they could flip it up with the reload, couldn't they? So yeah, 8 dominate, go again. This is probably game. Is it game? GG, Connaught Cake wins against Rhinar at the end there. Fantastic. So Overflex is quite good. Next arrow gets +4 reload. Yeah, it helped him win there because obviously he played the Overflex, reloaded the thing, then opted with the cross wrap to see the bolt and shot on top, activated Azalea, gave it dominate, and then came in for the win at the end there. So yeah, that's pretty good. This game is pretty much only just started by the looks of it. So we got well, it's 3 turns in because we got 3 tunic triggers at least. So we got H on Azalea and Widwen on Arachne. 36 to 39. Azalea on the play here, using Sandscour Greatbow as well. So a few players using Sandscour Greatbow today on the stream today. I mean, are they really leveraging the aim counters, or are they just leveraging the fact that you can still potentially play with a 1-card hand that is not an arrow? We will see. Widwen is putting a question mark in the chat, so I don't know. Yeah, so H had a brick hand there by the looks of it. He activated the Sandscour Greatbow, but had nothing to do with it by the looks of it. He's going to play out a Memorial Ground, though, to get something back on top by the looks of it. Heatseeker was selected. But that is it. So they've drew their hand now. So Arachne's got a 4-card hand coming in with the Spider's Bite. So coming in for 1, if it hits, the attack action cards in Azalea's hand will actually block for 1 less. So that's always a bit of an issue. Coming in Fleece to Frail, if it hits, banish top card of their deck, but they're looking for 2 or less defense. They put the card in the bottom of the deck, so I imagine that is a arrow card that they saw on top there, blocking for 3, I expect. So coming in for 4 here with the no blocks were declared. So is there going to be a... there's probably going to be a cut to the chase over the top of this if we do have a D-React to use. Yeah, so we do have a D-React to use. It's probably going to be a cut to the chase or 0 cost, or even a Razor Reflex over the top. Or not. But if you... No, okay, maybe not then. But yeah, I mean, if you're cracking your Black Tech Whisperers, you need to make sure the attack's hitting, surely. So using the cross wrap here to read the glide path. Put the card on the bottom. They're going to play the read the glide path to opt again. And putting the card on the top, using Sandscour to get it into the hand potentially, into the arsenal off the top of the deck. But no, they're using Drill Shot instead, coming in with 7 dominate aim counter. So obviously this will have piercing 1 as a result of the aim counter. So yeah, blocking with Annihilate the Armed, maybe another D-React. Yep, Fateful Scene. Arachne loves D-Reacts. It is like a control deck almost. It does have a lot of D-Reacts, a big defensive capability in Arachne. So they let that hit. Now they're playing Come to Fight. Gives an extra attack +3, and coming in with Leave No Witnesses for 7, which is quite nasty. So Leave No Witnesses for 7 forces a... it does banish top card. Well, okay, no blocks were declared, so this could be just 7 damage and banishing some cards. Okay. So yeah, Arachne's a tough one because you need to be playing sort of defensive in a way. You need to be able to be blocking and then responding. You need quite a proactive deck to deal with Arachne. Otherwise, you just get all of your stuff banished and key pieces gone. And I think my old deck, which had the attack actions in it, like CNCs and snatches and loads of D-Reacts and Oasis Respite and stuff, I think you need to play that sort of I think you need to play a bigger deck as well against Arachne. I think you need to play a larger deck. That's why my deck was okay against Arachne, because I was playing a massive deck, right? And sometimes they just banished away snatches or CNCs, not actually the stuff, the arrows and all that sort of thing. Need to work out my Arachne build, yeah. There's going to be more stuff to add to it, though, isn't there, as well, in the next set? There's going to be a lot more stuff to add to it, which would be nice. More 0-cost +3s, or whatever it is. Well, there'll be more mechanics based for the new assassin, or whatever the new assassin does. We know that's going to be in the set, don't we, already? But it's going to be interesting to see what that entails with the stealth mechanic and all that sort of thing. So 37 life to 27 life here. So Arachne is stalking the opponent here. Stalking them with multiple incisions from the spider's bite. My boarding strategy against Arachne, everyone in the pool, absolutely everyone. Just get in there, get in the deck. 70 cards at least. So activating Azalea here to give something dominate, or they're playing Not a Death Whistle. I don't know why they do that. So you can reload a card with Not a Death Whistle, but you can't activate. Oh, I guess you could. That's a cool ability, I guess, because you can activate Azalea, put something on top, and still Sand Scour it into the arsenal. So that interaction there with Azalea and Sand Scour and knock means you can actually go. You can actually get the thing that you knock. So if there's a knock on top. If you've got something in your arsenal, there's a knock on top. You can activate Azalea to get the knock into the arsenal. Then you can knock from arsenal, go get the card that you want on top, and then Sand Scour it into your arsenal. Essentially, that's what I was trying to get at. So there is a line there with those two cards that allows you to get a knock off the top and still get the shooter arrow out from Sand Scour with an aim counter as well. So that's quite a cool line, actually, thinking about it. I'm not even really commentating on what's going on at this precise moment in time, but they actually reverted to a previous turn. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they made a mistake. But yeah, that's a cool line to consider here. You can activate Azalea, which is what they're doing. You can play the knock, which goes and gets the card in your deck on top. You don't have to reload a card either, because you can put it in there from the top of your deck, which is the mistake that they made here. They reloaded a card where they can actually essentially use the card that they reloaded to pitch into the bow to put the card on top with an aim counter, and that's exactly what they've done here. They've gone and searched for the Hemorrhage Bore to get an aim counter, plus they've got the Deadeye coming in here. So this is a pretty good card. This is basically like a Leave No Witnesses effect on Ranger. We just had to jump through a God knows how many loops to get there. But yeah, this is going to be a good attack coming in now. So it's going to be an 8 attack coming in, where if it hits, they look at their hand to discard a card and they destroy their arsenal as well. So this is a pretty big attack coming in here. It's a shame it's not dominated, but you can't have everything. But yeah, a nice multitude of on-hit effects coming in here with the Hemorrhage Bore. Right Time Gaming, what's up? How's it going, Ian? Damn complex nonsense. Just pitch to plating, hit for 6. Andrew, yeah. But this is why you play Ranger, guys. Look at all these intricacies going on here. Arachne's just going to gain 3 life, because they can. They are going to take the on-hit effect, so obviously they discarded a card, they discarded Eradicate, and destroyed the arsenal as well. So that's a nice little play. And that's a nice little line worth remembering. The fact that if you've got a card in your arsenal, you activate Azalea if Knock the Death Whistle is on top, you put that into your arsenal, you play that from your arsenal, you go get a card from your deck on top, you leave it on top without reloading, you pitch to Sand Scour, and you can play the card that you've tutored, even though you've activated Azalea already, from the top of your deck. So pretty good. A lightning strike coming in for 5 with Go Again here. So what's going to be after this then? Maybe a Spider's Bite or something else? What else could he do with 1 card in hand? What else can Arachne do with 1 card in hand? Snatch? 0 cost attack? Have a great day of a wrestling stream. Till next time, my friend. Absolutely, Hank. Hope you have a great day as well. Enjoy your home time when you get there. Thanks for stopping by. Annihilate the Arms coming in here, using the Tunic trigger to come in for 5. cares about banishing attack action cards, and they've chose to put the card on the bottom of the deck. So it indicates that's probably not an attack action on top. They are going to Fate Foreseen and block 4 of it, so they are going to take 1 and still get the banish effect. Put a card on the bottom, so they have actually... Yeah, they did banish an attack card there with a headshot. So activating the Tunic here with Azalea. Using the Sandscour Greatbow to have a look at the top and see if we want that to go into our arsenal or card from our hand into the arsenal instead. But yeah, 12 life, 8 life differential between the two at the moment. Arachne on 32, Azalea on 24. Azalea now coming in with a fatigue shot for 5. I don't know why Azalea just got silver there. Why is that? Why is that then? Why have they got silver all of a sudden? Have I missed something there? Why have they got silver Why have they got silver tokens? Bit strange, isn't it? So blocking with a shred. Love how shred still blocks for 3. Madness. Cool. So that's that. So the 2 damage there to them. Fatigue shot is now active, so obviously their next attack action is halved in value. So this plunder the paws and come in for 2. That doesn't stop the attack reactions, unfortunately. It doesn't stop the zero for +3 situations that Arachne has access to, like cut to the chase and all that sort of thing. 2 cards in hand, so there probably will be a reaction on top of this to force more damage through. Banish a card. Contract that all you got coming in handy there. Nice little combo with fatigue shot and that all you got there. So obviously this is basically a block that will replace itself when the combat chain closes. So still remaining a 4-card hand on Azalea's turn. So yeah, that all you got. It's a good card in certain situations. It's obviously just a free block 3 that replaces itself. It's pretty good. I did pick up a few of those recently. Cool. So loading in the bolt and shot, coming in for 6 go again if it hits reload with 1 floating. Blocking all of that damage there to prevent the on-hit from going through. They've got 1 floating though, so what are they going to choose to do with that? Are they going to load their bullseye braces and fire something? Or are they just going to pass? What's going to happen here? I wouldn't assume a miss on the top of the card for Arachne Triggers. Talking with local players, the play for Arachne Triggers might be purposely mess up the opponent's pitch stack. Wow, okay, that's pure thinking, that is, isn't it? So yeah, they did in fact load the bullseye braces. So they did want to fire 2 things this turn, it seemed. So the on-hit effect didn't go through from the bolt and shot, so therefore they are choosing to break their bullseye braces here to fire another arrow at them. So yeah, coming in for 6, Sleep Dart. Obviously gets the +1 from the bullseye braces. If this hits, it turns off Arachne's Peer at the top of your deck's ability. So no reactions, no blocks, sink below, lots of D-reacts. And they're just going to respond on their turn with a Leave No Witnesses for nothing. But they've got a card in their hand still, so they could push over a Cut to the Chase if they wanted to as well, potentially. So you always have to bear that in mind. You always have to think that there are a lot of cards in Arachne's list or in Assassin's list in general that will, unfortunately, get over the top in these situations. But yeah, another all that you got, or that all you got, sorry. But there's the Cut to the Chase as envisioned, coming through, blocking for 4 against 7, coming in leaving witnesses. Is there going to be another D-react? No, that's going to hit for 3, and they are going to banish another Hemorrhage Boar from the Azalea player. Now it's Azalea's turn with a 3-card hand now, coming in. So activating the bow, pitching a knock, so we've got 2 floating here, looking at the top card of the deck, and then either choosing to put that into the arsenal or a card from our hand into the arsenal. So they're going to put a bolt and shot into the arsenal. They're going to activate Azalea to give the headshot an aim counter and dominate. I was coming in for 7 with the release attention buff underneath it. So coming in for 7, just raw damage. So I imagine Arachne's probably just going to have this. They're on more life at the moment. They got 4 card hand. They are blocking with their mask. And a Nix and Nimble. Okay, so they are gonna prevent some of that damage. So they do have a tunic trigger here as well to us also to note, but they're going to come in with a Plunder to Paw for 4 again. So this is obviously banishing cards that cost 1 or less, coming in for 4. But they could just have 2 0-cost reactions in their hand now, which could just be another way to leak a load of damage through and banish some cards. So yeah, blocking for 3 here and 6 with a fatigue shot. Going to try and block out the damage, but even a +3 here would leak some damage. Oh, there we go. There it is. Essentially a +3 on the yellow shred, taking down the red in the ledger to a 0 block. So you know the damage goes through in the end, banishing a card as well. And they've Arsenal on past, so they've now got 5 cards. 5 cards with higher life, even after this this buff power or draw a card attack from the E-Strike. So Arachne in the much bit better position at the moment, so they could just take this damage, go down to life equality to a certain degree, 21 against 20 if they do decide to take this, and obviously they're still going to crack back with a 5 card hand, which is going to be pretty detrimental to Azalea. She's on 27 cards, they're on 29 cards, plus the cards that they have in their hand at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be... they are blocking for 1, they are blocking at 2. Interesting. Just conserving life by looks of it, and then just maybe hitting back with some form of attack card that they can then push over the top to get the banish. As an Arachne player, it's definitely as much to mess with the pitch stack, play mind games with your opponent, keep them away from their power cards, just go searching for a card that matches contract. It's almost as bad as Warrior with all the attack reactions. Yeah, there's a lot of attack reactions. It's what actually made me switch. Mind games with reacts, but you also get to look through the opponent's deck. Yeah, information is key knowledge, right? Information is actually key knowledge. So yeah, just coming in with a CNC here, the Arachne player. Coming in with a CNC against Azalea. They're just going to take the damage by the looks of it. There's no arsenal to threaten. But yeah, 5 against 4. 5 cards against 4. Massive 13 life disparity between the two. Azalea, this is not looking good for her, unfortunately. She's already blocked with 3 pieces of equipment. Activating the Sandscar Greatbow, pitching a Rain Razors, leaves 1 floating, so they can use to put a battering bolt into their arsenal. Okay. Now, this is where this is a great attack against Arachne or warriors in general, because they do have a lot of reactions, and this gets rid of a load of them. So this is a bit of a swing here, and yeah, one of the main. One of my favourite cards in my old Azalea list, in my run every card in the deck list. This is one of my favourites to get. Especially at the time where Arachne was first spoiled, there was a load of games online that was just Arachne, and this is one of my favourite cards to get, Battering Bolt. But yeah, blocking for 1 at the moment with a Mask Petition, so still 8 coming through on the other end. And yep, Sink Below. So obviously, when I was playing Azalea, I was using Dreadball, so they would not have been able to do that. So yeah. I do miss the old list, but I've been playing something else recently, and it's pretty good. Double D-React here from hand, so this would have not happened at all if you would have played Dreadball, sir. But yeah, interesting. So they're going to swing with Spider's Bite for 1. I love the design space on the debuff here of Spider's Bite. They are going to take that damage, and they're going to come in with an Eradicate for 4. With a potential attack reaction over the top, playing mind games, as you said, Jason, or Jackson, sorry. Blocking with a Heat Seeker for 2, because obviously it's been debuffed by Spider's Bite earlier. Is there a react in the arsenal, or are they saving it? They are going to Fateful Scene. We are going to Fateful Scene. So we're blocking for 6 at the moment, so we are preventing the banish effect at the moment, unless there is any reactions. Nope. But yeah, 2 card hand and Azalea here. This is not looking good. Pitching a Memorial Ground, so we've got one floating. Heatseeker goes in with the aim counter, and that's going to be fired off, hopefully with a buff behind it. Well, we've got a scar for a scar behind it, so it's going 4 Go Again, and then followed up by a Heatseeker, which if that hits, we do get a card in our arsenal, and that puts us on the same cards as Arachne, over there on 5, but we still have a life deficit of 14 here. So yeah, not in a great space for Azalea currently. But yeah, Arachne's fun. Arachne is fun. I just can't wait to see what other stuff we get for Assassin in the new set, because obviously it's blatantly going to be there, isn't it? So now we're going to come in with a Heatseeker, coming in for 5. The aim counter does not matter in this instance. Just means if it hits, we get a card, so we we'll have card advantage on the next turn. They are going to block for 3, at least, and let 2 go through. Nope, they're going to Fateful Scene it. So yeah, Dreadbore is probably the bow to use against Arachne, because they do like their D-reacts and their control. So Slayer Scholar's coming in now for 4. That Arsenal card is still hanging around in Azalea's in Arachne's arsenal. So I imagine that's probably some form of attack reaction that's going to push damage over the top when they need to. But now choosing to block with the cross wrap and the battering bolt here. Finally, Azalea is absolutely naked on the battlefield now, unfortunately. Pitching a battering bolt to the Sandscour, looking at the top card, seeing if it's narrow, they can put it in, or they can put an arrow card from their hand into the arsenal if they want to. But yeah, it's just not looking. The value that we're getting here isn't enough, I don't think. So obviously, yeah, we're not maintaining an arsenal. We're putting damage through that doesn't really do anything to Arachne. There is a Seek and Destroy on the stack here, so obviously if this hits, it will destroy their card advantage that they've built up. It will destroy the card in their arsenal, which they've kept there for 2 turns. So are they going to block this out? Probably, because, you know, there is something hiding there, isn't there? Maybe not. Maybe not. Processing the hit effect for drill shot, so now they're letting it hit for 4. Going down to 18, they get a -1 counter on one of their things, and they have to use their arsenal and their hand on this turn, because Seek and Destroy is now active. So Spider's Bite, first of all, coming in for 1. Still quite a life disparity here, 9 life disparity, coming in for 1, which will be a 10 life disparity if we take it. Yes, we do, 10 life in it between players. Now coming in with a second Spider's Bite for 1 with Go Again. And then we've got 2 cards after this, which they probably have to use because of the fact that Seek and Destroy will destroy them. So yeah, 2 floating over there, coming in with a Sack the Shifty, coming in for 4. With 2 floating over there as well. So what could that be? What could 2 floating be with the card in hand? So they've passed priority, no blocks. Mask of Perdition is going to be used here to try and banish 2 cards rather than 1. There's a sink below there though as well, and there is the cut to the chase. There is a card that they were waiting to use. They wanted to get their on-hit effect through, banish 2 cards rather than 1, and get 3 damage through as well. So yeah, cut to the chase, still a horrible card that you have to. It does play mind games with your opponent. You have to think, right, this isn't just going to be a 4 attack. This is potentially a 7 attack. And you have to think, right, is that what I'm blocking? Is that what I'm committing to? So I think, yeah, I think you just have to play with a larger deck in this matchup. And then use Dreadbore as well. But then again, you're changing your entire strategy for 1 matchup. So it is a tough one. It is a tough one. Azalea doesn't like seeing her things banished because you need the stuff. You do need it. So loading in a headshot, activating Azalea here, getting a Bolton shot. That's coming in for dominated 7. Yeah, red and Read the Glide Path dominated 7. I don't know why Azalea is creating silvers upon shooting things. I don't know why that's happening. Or whether that's just a bit of a glitch. So blocking with a shred. Taking 4, and that's it. So drawing up to 4. Azalea is now on 11 cards, and yeah, Arachne's on a lot more. So Arachne just playing fatigue now by the looks of it, going in for Go Again, 5 damage. Yeah, Azalea's on the ropes here, unfortunately. Not much she can do about this. And if you're in the chat, please, if you could just like this video, that would be fantastic. But Azalea is going to lose here. We'll probably dip into one more game after this, and then we'll probably call it a night for today. Yeah, coming in with Slay the Scholars after the Enlightened Strike, which is just absolutely vile. Just banishing more cards. Azalea is on the ropes here. Not much she can really do. I don't think she's going to find 18 damage out of 11 cards. I don't think she's going to be able to put that together with obviously the defensive capabilities of Arachne. Coming in for 4 with Go Again, Arachne will probably just say, yeah, I'll take this. 4 damage, whatever. Yeah, just going to take it. Enlightened Strike, 7. 50% of their life, but probably will still take it at this point. Yeah, they'll take 4 out of that. So 10 to 2, and then Azalea is on 9 cards in total, with an Arachne on 17 cards. So Come to Fight is coming in, and this is just going to be demanding cards from Azalea's hand now. Wow, okay, a Surgical Extraction coming in for 6, I believe, or is that 7? Is it Red Come to Fight? Yeah, Red Come to Fight. So 7 coming in now, having to block with 3. Potentially 2 cards. They can take 1 damage in this transaction, but then if it hits, they do look at their hand and banish a card. So yeah, I think it's just game over at this point. There's nothing they can do. Memorial Ground, get something on top, and then they banish a card. There's not really much they can do about that. Thank you very much. I can see the likes have gone up. Thank you very much for doing that. So yeah, 1 life against 10. They've now got 5 cards in their deck against Arachne's 15 cards. So yeah, this is not looking good. Arachne's on the play as well, so just going to be demanding more cards. And lethal with Spider's Bite, so that's pretty much game. Demanding lethal with a one attack dagger is, as we know, Kodachi range is just vile. You pretty much lost the game at that point. 10 likes, 10 viewers at the moment. Fantastic, brilliant. But yeah, that's it. That's it for Azalea, unfortunately. Then we'll try and jump into one more if there is another one here going on. Azalea versus Briar. So let's see how much gameplay. Oh, that's been done already. Just refresh it a bit. Refresh it. Azalea versus Arachne. That was just going on. Not much else going on. Azalea Blitz versus Volda. Let's have a look. Azalea Blitz, Cool Luiard versus Mathis. So yeah, just a nice little fun one maybe to end. Here we go, Blitz, Azalea using Sandscour Great Bow. So using Knock the Death Whistle to go and get a card. Morphless is revealed, lovely. So that's obviously pretty good. Can't use D-Reacts from Arsenal when you load it in there. So playing a Seek and Destroy, so coming in with a dominated... oh, okay, they're using Bolt and Shot first. Okay. I guess if this hits her, they can then reload the card in, activate Azalea, then go and use the tune trigger to then fire the Remorseless with a Dominate. So I guess they're just trying to go a bit more wider against the Valda. So that's cool. So it's going to see interesting to see what happens here. But I've never seen this matchup before, Azalea versus Valda. So they're blocking with their Steelblade Blocker and Thunderquake to prevent the on-hit effect. So the fact that they've set up with Knock the Death Whistle gives me the impression that they can... Oh, they undid their last action. Oh, okay, that's a bit of a cheat, isn't it? Why is he doing that for? Okay, so he fired a Bolt and Shot, realised it was fully blocked, and then went in with... Undid their action, then used Remorseless instead? Yeah, I was wondering why they knocked for a Remorseless and then didn't fire it. That's strange. I don't know. But they are fully blocking it regardless. Fully blocking the whole thing. I'm not sure what happened there. Because you wouldn't knock for a Remorseless and then fire a Bolt and Shot with the Seek and Destroy trigger on the Bolt and Shot, surely. Unless you were trying to go wide, looking for the on-hit, and then reloading a card, then switching it out using a tuning trigger. That probably would have been still viable. If the on-hit effect did not go through, you could still bullseye braces something from your hand into your arsenal, switch out of Azalea, then use your tuning to fire it off the Remorseless with Dominate still. But I've never watched a Blitz game on here, so maybe the level of play is a lot more casual. You can just like undo stuff and that. But yeah, the on-hit effect's gone through for Remorseless, and that's it. So it's now draw up and over to Valda. Every action they play costs them a life, and obviously they have to discard their hand at the end because of the Seek and Destroy trigger. Seems a little sus, the little kids say. Absolutely, yeah. I don't know what happened in that last transaction there, but yeah, it was a strange line for Azalea to play. They played Knock, the Death Whistle. They reloaded a card in. They played Seek and Destroy and then played Bolt and Shot. When in fact they undid their whole turn. Maybe they didn't realise they shot the Bolt and Shot and was like, oh, what am I doing? And then undid the whole turn and actually did what should have been done. But yeah, you could have still pushed a even larger turn than that. I think if I was looking at it again, you probably could have done. But yeah, a Mangle coming in here for 8 with a crush effect of destroy target equipment with -1 counter on it. That's not going to take any effect here because obviously there is no equipment with -1 counters on it. So yeah, just coming in for 8 now with this, but still that's a large attack in Blitz. If I misclick, I'll ask to undo, or order wrong, I'll ask, but that looks wrong. Yeah, it did. It did look a bit strange, didn't it? But this is Blitz. I think it's just a bit of fun in it, I guess. People maybe people just trying out the decks before they do anything. But yeah, fully blocking the 8 here. Fully blocking the 8 with an immobilizing shot, bolt and shot, and razor reflex. So Azalea's got a 1-card hand to come back with. Just Arsenal pass, so that's it. So Azalea's got card advantage, and the life is pretty much the same, 13 to 12. So you'd think that, depending on what Valda throws at Azalea here, she might be able to have some form of crackback, which might be better, maybe more interactive, but we'll see. Chokeslam, okay, so they can't, if it deals 4 more damage, they can't gain, action cards can't gain power, so that's a bit of a detrimental card to Azalea because she has a lot of pumps in a deck, and obviously all the bolt and shots will be turned off as well. So you do need to try and block this sort of thing out. So yeah, they're blocking out the crush effect unless there is a pummel behind this. But there is not, no. So Azalea still has a 3-card hand to crack back with. 3 life disparity at the moment, so is that going to be enough to maybe threaten something here? Using the cross wrap to opt, revealing a point the tip in the arsenal. Point the tip is one that I was initially quite hyped on because it puts aim counters on any of your arrows, and you can use any bow. But the more I've looked at it, the more it's just not that good, unfortunately. But 8 dominate coming in here with an aim counter on Remorseless. So yeah, that's still pretty good. 8 dominate, still pretty decent. Interesting to see what they do with this, because 8 damage would put them down to 5. They can't play a D-reaction in their arsenal because of the Remorseless effect. So if they have arsenal to D-react, they can't use it, which is quite good. And obviously every action they play next turn, if this hits, will cost them a life. So they're probably just going to try and block this out because... yeah, it looks like they're just going to try and block this out because... well, they've blocked 1 card from hand, so now that's all they can really do is block with the equipment now, isn't it? So they're going to leak some damage here. 2 damage leaked. Still got a 4-card hand to crack back with. Once they play an action, they're going to go down to 10. They're going to play this round's on me. Okay, so they're going to gain a card. They are going to lose a life though by playing this. Okay, so drew a card. They played this round's on me, and obviously that effect will stay until the next turn. So, but coming in with an 8 debilitate. First attack has -2 next turn. Will actually be -3 because of this round's on me. So yeah, 8 coming in with a crush effect. They have given them an extra card to block with, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on the defense here. But I think Azalea wants to block the crush effect. Still have 3 cards left. Maybe even block with cross wrap and Tunic at this stage, depending on what they have in their hand. Because obviously you're going to have Tunic on the next turn, but it's Blitz. I think there you have to just go balls to the wall. It depends on what they have in their hand. I can't see what they have in their hand, so I can't really, speak for what their strategy is. But yeah, pitching a yellow to use an overflex, that will load an arrow in. Oh, they undid their action. Okay, they're going to use their Tunic instead for their overflex, I imagine. The attacks that target them still have the. Oh, they just snagged them. Attack action cards can't gain power. Wow. So they just snagged them. I haven't seen that card in a while. Do I know these players? No, I don't. This is just random. Azalea commentating. I don't know these players at all. I'm just spectating on their game, basically. I don't understand. How has that got power? If this attack action cards can't gain power from their own effects. Right, I see. Okay. That's not relevant then, really, is it? Can't gain power from their own effects. So yeah, an 8 red in the ledger coming in here is still pretty good. Still still a big attack. I don't know how much Valda cares about going wide, but this is pretty good. Snag, truly a meta card. Yeah. Haven't seen it in ages, so I can't remember where. Did it see play in the Monarch? Is it Monarch meta it saw play with Chain? Did it see play then? I can't remember. I wasn't really into. I'm still not really into the meta and knowing what cards do what against what and all that sort of thing, really. But I swear Snag was more of a thing back then. And another massive attack coming in for 8, which is lethal. So it just depends on if Azalea can block and still keep up the tempo. Now, Volda has blocked with Crown, and it's got a minus counter on both Crater Fist and Earthlaw, so they can only block for 2 on their equipment. So I would probably just try and cash in this equipment here now. The Tunic's probably not going to get a resource again, and the cross wrap you're just not opting at all. This player is not using the cross wrap to opt at all right now, so I will just chuck the equipment under the bus on one of these turns, probably that last turn, depending on what was in the hand. Blessing of Focus. Wow, okay, I haven't seen that being played before. Blocks for 3 though, and it's a yellow card, I guess. But so activating the bow here, 2 left over. Was supposed to be played around for Riftbind. Oh, okay, yeah, Riftbind, that's the one. Yeah, I thought it was Monarch. I remember pulling some of them, and they were sort of fairly usable at the time, and that sounds about the right sort of time frame. So yeah, I'm not sure what Azalea is going to be doing here. Obviously, she's on the play, so she's going to be able to fire some damage across. Endless Arrow. Okay, so Endless Arrow would dominate. Aim counter doesn't really mean anything right now, so this is just coming in for 4 of Dominate. They'll probably just block with a piece of equipment and a card here, because both of their equipment still have 1 block on them. Blocking with the Pulverize, okay. And the Crater Fist, there it is. There's the equipment block, so Crater Fist can no longer block. So the only other block they have left on their equipment is Earthlaw Bounty, so Azalea is winning that race to a certain degree. There's still more block on board from Azalea's equipment than there is on the Guardian's equipment. So now Azalea has the card advantage and the block advantage on the equipment, plus a 1 life disparity between the two, of Alda holding that lead. So Azalea might be in a good position now, depending on what Volda's hand makeup is, because Azalea now has a 5-card hand with 2 block on field without using any cards. So this could be a good position for Azalea right now. We'll see, but it just depends on what Volda's got. But it's this point in the game where Dreadbore is very useful. Thunderquake, okay, that's a big attack, right? Well, they've heaved Thunderquake into the arsenal, okay. So, yeah, so Azalea has now activated the Skullbone Crosswrap. She needs to finish off Valda here, right now. So Blue read the Glide Path being played to see if they can dig for another arrow, maybe, to give Dominate. But that's not giving a big buff. +1 is not giving a big buff. That brings their Hemorrhage Boar up to 6. Or any sort of red cost arrow up to 6, really. It's not enough, is it? It's not enough. Even with Dominate, it's not enough. They've still got 1 block on field. Point the Tip, another +1 card. A blue, and Seek and Destroy as well. Okay. Not bad, coming in for 10, so that is lethal. But is it enough to stop the Thunderquake next turn? That's the thing. So you've got 1 block on the field over there with the Earthlore Bounty. The Thunderquake's going to cost a blue from hand with the 3 Seismic Surges. So I've got an ad coming up here. Go away. So yeah, they're going to block with everything. No, undid their blocks, blocking him for 10 using the Earthlore Bounty finally to block everything, and they're still going to be able to Thunderquake from hand by pitching a blue. So that is absolutely vital for Valda's last hurrah here to take Azalea out. But yeah, it's just going to be a Thunderquake, isn't it, from Arsenal now? Yeah, for 10 damage. Wow. So yeah, Azalea's still got 2 block on board, so she could still survive if she blocks with 2 cards from hand and 1 card from and 2 cards from the thing. But she still is going to have a Tunic line available to her next turn with the Tunic, so that's the thing. So she could block with 2 block 3s and a Skullbone to block 7. 2 block 3s and a 1 to block 7. Is that what we're doing here? No. So they're going to have a Tunic resource available to them. So maybe they're just relying on that Sandscour Greatbow now to see what's on top. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because we do have a Tunic line now. They're going to take some still. They're still going to leak some damage. So Tunic, here we go. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? 14 cards in Valda's deck and 8 cards in Azalea's deck. So activating the Bullseye Braces here to put a card in there into the arsenal. Okay, red in the ledger. Coming in for 6. That's not bad. One action on the next turn as well, which could be interesting. 6 is not an amount to be snuffed at, but knowing Valda, she could just be, yeah, I'll take all of the damage and then come back with a 7 attack or a 6 attack or something massive like Thunderquake was on before, and that puts Azalea in a tricky position. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, what blocks they do. Blocking with Terra Sunder. So that would put them down to 4 life. So life equality there. And that's what they're going to do. So 4 on 4, and with a Spinal Crush coming in there, that's just absolutely vile. So 9 damage coming in here against Azalea. It's just Valda's card's just going to be more valuable than Azalea's at this time. Azalea is more resource intensive, and this is where you block with your Tunic and your Cross Wrap as well now, isn't it? Yeah. You're not going to get any more value out of that Tunic. You just block with it. That's it. Just use it. And then block another 3 block from your hand. And you could still do something. If you block another 3, even another 2. If you've got that, blocking another 3. So yeah, there we go. 9 to 7. It's right down to the wire here on this Blitz game, but I think Valda will ultimately take it because she just has more cards at this point. So Azalea's only got 5 cards left. Valda's got 12. So activating the Sandscour Greatbow, seeing what we've got, pitching a bolt and shot, seeing what's on top, seeing what's in hand, what's going to happen. Raven X Shadow, you're absolutely right. Valda can just fatigue here. She can just fatigue. Yeah, she can just fatigue. So looking at the top card of the deck with Sandscour and looking at the card in hand to see if we can put something in there. But not looking good here for Cool Leeward on Talishar. Not looking good for them right now, unfortunately. So what do we got? What's coming in? A Bolton Shot for 4. So it's still lethal. But they can just block with 1 card from hand and survive. So that's probably what they're just going to do. They probably just block all of it. Probably just block all of it, and then just swing with the Titan's Fist if they need to, right? They can just block all day, and then just swing with the Titan's Fist and have a lovely old job, because they can just keep pitching to the Titan's Fist. Azalea does not have that ability, and now she's got 4 cards to draw, and that's it. That's all she's got left. No cards left in Azalea's deck here. Now they're just going to keep swinging the fist. That's all they're going to be doing, just demanding cards from Azalea. There's nothing she can do about this. They're going to Arsenal a card as well, so they're going to have card advantage consistently. So this is the end for Azalea, unfortunately. I don't want to speak too soon, because we had that Bravo earlier that was just like, yeah, I'm not going to block, and then died to a Rain Razors. So hopefully there's not sort of that insolence here. But there we go, blocking with Deadeye. And they're just gonna. That's it. They're just gonna Arsenal pass. Just keep swinging the hammer now. They can block pretty much what Azalea is doing. They can't. She can't dominate off of the top anymore. There might be some form of buff. Oh, they're gonna pummel it. There we go. That's game. That is game. GG's. Nothing Azalea can do unless she has a Fateful Scene in her arsenal, in her hand. Sorry, or something. Do you react? Nah. There we go. That is pretty much it for today. That was me just casting some Azalea games and just seeing what other people are doing with her at the moment. I've pretty much submitted my list for this weekend for the Leeds Battle Hardened event. Should be fun. Should be documenting some of it as well with regards to just like vlog style, like I did do with the San Jose. That video is actually still going to come out at some point. It is a big, long, uncut version of San Jose. It's still going to come out at some point. But yeah, expect to see some footage on the Leeds Battle Hardened while it is still relevant, while sort of PQ season is still relevant. It's not really something I really partake in. I'm not like I don't really care about the competitive stuff. I'm just there to have fun, play Azalea, of course. Be interesting to see how well I do, but yeah, can't wait to have a look, see what happens. Is it common to run more than 40 cards? They both had 43, 44. In Blitz, I don't know actually. It's not something I play too often, so I wouldn't actually know the answer to that, unfortunately. CC though, I've played decks that are over 60. One of my Azalea lists that I used to play on Talishar quite a lot before I changed it was definitive for having every single card in the deck and not having a sideboard, essentially. I just like to have a big deck, basically. But yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. So thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in. Blitz is fixed 40. Ah, right, okay, that makes sense. Is it fixed 40 and then 11 on the sideboard, something like that? 11 equipment slots. Yeah, 40 and 11 I think it is, isn't it? 40 cards, 11 slots, 11 equipment slots. But yeah, that goes to show how much Blitz I play. Probably not enough. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today. I'm in the middle of also in the middle of creating a new Patreon end credits scene. So I don't have that on the end of this video today. So sorry for the patrons out there. Your name won't appear at the end of this particular stream, but yeah, I've got another patron to add, so I need to do that. After this, basically. But thank you very much for your time today. I hope you've enjoyed me just casting Azalea. Hopefully my passion shone through, my knowledge shone through to a certain degree. I do love the character. I've played so much of the character now that I know a lot of the cool stuff that she can do and what situations she can get herself in. So maybe we'll do more of this in the future rather than playing it. We'll just commentate on it and chill out in the chat. But yeah, thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in, and hope you have a good day wherever you might be watching now or in the future. I've been Az from GoAgainGaming. Please make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Check out the link in the description box below for all my ways you can help support me and all that good stuff. But apart from that, that is pretty much it for today. So thank you very much. We'll see you soon, people.